other centers, especially this Nabi, which is the navel center, which is very important in human beings. This is the center by which we seek. When in amoeba stage, we seek food. At a higher level, we start seeking heights. Like when they became mammoth and all these animals, they wanted to have a height, to go over the trees, to be able to master them and to eat the leaves. But they became so much outsized with their height that they had to become smaller animals, like say intelligent animals, and like say cats and things like that, cat family. And this is how the evolution has been brought forth through our seeking as amoeba, then as animals, and now as human beings. As we have evolved higher and higher, we have become subtler and subtler in our seeking. For example, the people who are seeking, say, power, are not so evolved as people who are seeking their spirit, no doubt about it. Because you have gone through that, you have had enough of it. Maybe last lives you might have been kings and queens, and you must have seen all the jokes of it. So you said, now it's had enough of it, this power business. We don't want to have any more. Such a headache we don't want to have. So the people who are seeking money also are the people who have had enough of it and they were fed up of it. So they said, now we have had it. So now you are seekers of something beyond. It has been always so, something beyond we seek. But this seeking beyond is not described to so many people, and they are not able to understand what is the beyond. That's why this center is very important of your evolutionary process. Now, first of all, as I have told you, that we have to be in balance. That's one thing we must have, is the balance in life. I mean, in common sense also we can see, supposing there's a car going only on one wheel, how many would like to travel by that? Anything that you do in life has to have a balance. Otherwise, anything, even catching something, holding something, or small things, even riding a bicycle, you know that you have to have a balance. So if the Kundalini has to move, you have to be a balanced personality, a personality with a temperate nature, and must have a balanced attitude towards life. That is very important. But in case it is not, you can be sucked into the central path of the Sushumna, in the central path of your evolution. Now the evolution takes place by remaining in the central path. Those who go to the extremes fall out of this. Now the virus that we suffer from very commonly is nothing but a kind of a vegetable which is fallen out of evolution. Now the vegetable that we call as tobacco is going to fall out of complete evolution, and you'll be surprised after some years you will not find any tobacco growing anywhere because it will go out of evolution. Thanks to human beings that they misunderstood the role of tobacco. Tobacco is an insecticide. It is to be used for killing the insects and not to kill yourself. But we sometimes forget that whatever God has created for the good, sometimes we can use it for our destruction. Same is alcohol. Alcohol was created for polishing. It's very good. For example, if you have to polish your crystal, you should use gin. It's very good for diamonds or anything. It's just a polish. It's a polish for the for anything. It gives a polish. See, alcohol is a polish, and its composition is such that it gives a polish to a thing. Now God wanted you to have polished surfaces and polished things and all the clean look of it, so He gave you this polish. Now you started drinking it. Now what to do? He never asked you to drink. But if you drink that, then it polishes your intestines also. But it has its own nature. It doesn't have any idea of morality. poor thing. We can't blame the alcohol because it is supposed to polish. Wherever you put it, it polishes, all right? So it polishes your liver also nicely. And when the liver is nicely polished, then what happens? That the heat from the liver, which is for the expulsion from the body, it has to pass into the bloodstream, cannot, because there's a barrier. And because of that barrier, poor liver does not know what to do. It just goes on accumulating all the heat within it, and that's how your liver goes out of circulation of anything. You have liver problems and you feel very giddy, nauseating, and liver is the one which really cleanses your attention. Whatever you gather from your attention, it cleanses. So you become horrid. I mean, you are all the time angry, hot-tempered, you bark at people all the time. All that thing is typically liverish, you see. You grow tall like that, absolutely straight line, and you become very hot-tempered. Sometimes you could be hawk-like. People will be afraid of going nearer such a person because such a person can be very dry personality. And that's why you'll find drunkard people, if they are over-drunk, you go near them, they'll just beat you for nothing at all. I mean, it sometimes happens that by chance, if you go and ask some drunkard that what's the time in the night, you will have it. So, because it spoils your awareness. And in that awareness, a nice man also could be like that. But of course, there could be a case where a person might become better. That is also another thing that can happen when you get possessed by this left side movement, because alcohol reduces your awareness and you go to the left side, movement to the left side may give you a feeling, oh, I'm very much better now, and sort of you get happy because your ego is subsided and everything is all right, and I'm really morbid now, I cannot hit anyone, and let me have a little bit and sleep off. But next day, there's a hangover, and you feel so horrible with it that you don't know what to do. I mean, it's something. Then again, you want to have it in the night because you want to again go to the same realm into the left side. Now, this left side realm apparently shows that there is reduction in the weight of the ego, but it does not. It wobbles. What happens that you go to the superego on the left-hand side, you see there, and the ego then thinks that it has gone down because the superego increases in size. But when superego increases, the ego is pushed down, and then when you come to your ego condition, then it pushes down. So there's a big wobbling going on, and such people get ultimately very much confused. They might end up in a lunatic asylum. I don't know what they do, but when they are even sane, you can find they lose the grip over life. For example, such people can become very frivolous and cannot feel the joy of life without drinking. It's most amazing that people can't enjoy each other unless and until there's a glass in between. I mean, human beings are so beautiful, and they have the capacity to enjoy each other so much. They are the only ones who are blessed more than anybody else. But if there's a glass all the time in between, then they can just bark at each other. They cannot enjoy each other. The enjoyment should be complete when there's nothing in between. Now, this is what I was telling you, this Nabi chakra. This Nabi chakra gets ruined also when we take to alcohols or serious things like that, drugs, and even I've seen certain medicines can spoil this. Then you get a problem with other things like digestion, you get constipation, all sorts of things take place by which you develop gas troubles and other troubles, and then your heart troubles, and it goes on one after another. I do not say that it's only alcohol that will cause. There are other causes also, but alcohol can never be helpful in giving you good health. Some people have a feeling that if you take alcohol, then only you will keep good health. It's a wrong thing. Because health is not only physical health, it's also mental health. People think that physical health is the end of everything. It's absolutely wrong, because we are not only the physical being, we are also the mental being, and the emotional being. And when you play too much with your Nabi chakra, you have the biggest problem, and that is that you can never be successful in life as far as enjoyment is concerned of your achievements. For example, a person becomes rich, unduly rich he becomes, is a blessing, I should say, of Nabi chakra on the right hand side. Right hand side Nabi chakra can give you a lot of wealth, a lot of money, and you'll have 10 cars and 15 people attending to you, everything you may have. But it cannot give you the satisfaction of life. You will go on accumulating and end up with a suicide or something like that, and you would not know why you are bent upon committing suicide. That's why in all affluent countries you find people are planning to commit suicide. And the more affluent they are, the worse it is. But the left side gets completely dried. Now the left side is the center of the family life, the Graha Lakshmi, the goddess of the family, the household, you see. A person who runs after money too much forgets his family. He has no time for his family. A husband and wife may meet somewhere on the airport, or may just wave at each other sometimes, you see, crossing each other. Or the children suffer the most. And in that case, the women also then take up with the men. They compete, what's wrong? They start copying men. And in doing so, when they compete with each other, then what happens? That this family life gets disturbed. The woman of the household is dissatisfied, her ego is not satisfied. In olden times, the man used to go in the jungle and get all the wood cut, bring it home, and give it to the wife, and wife used to cook. There was no problem because there was barter system. He could see her working in the household. Now the husband earns the money and the woman spends. I mean, that also requires some work, isn't it, to spend the money. But to man, it looks like that I'm the earning member and she's the spender. So she says, all right, I will also earn. But in this, too much of competition like this between the two, what happens? The family suffers, the children suffer. And such a person will have problem with the wife will have problem with the husband, and you can always feel that center on this finger. If that finger is catching, that means there's something wrong with your family relationship, that you have to adjust yourself, and he has to adjust. It's an important thing, because you are like the flowers which have to produce a fruit. That's what nature wants. Nature wants that you are there to produce the fruit, that is your children. That's why you are men and women. That's the basics. Now, if you think that with that responsibility, if you can do something else, you should do. But the main thing is that, and if you don't do that, is to look after your children, to give them joy, have a beautiful nest for them, then I must say that you are neglecting your basic duty and your attention on something else. That's why so many divorces are taking place and problems are there. Then women ask for their rights, they go beyond their limits, they become dominating here, the men become dominating. That's not the way we are going to solve. We have to know that we are two wheels of one chariot. One on the left, another in the right. Now, they are not similar. They are not similar. There are two types, one left side, one on the right side. But they are equal. Whatever they do, it's equal. They are to be respected equally in the same manner. And it is always so. For example, I had a girl who came to me, and she was a private secretary. And she told me, Mother, you say this, but I've seen that all these men come and flirt with their private secretaries. So I said, all right, maybe so. But what does that matter? You see, that shows that something wrong with the man. He doesn't understand. He's off his head. He cannot enjoy his wife and he's running after other things. It's like having something in your house and you're looking at other things, you see. Like in India, if you go to somebody comes to your house, be careful about your things. But in England, I tell them, if somebody comes to your house, be careful about your wife. See, it's just a little difference between, but the second one is a dangerous thing because fundamental. The wife is the fundamental thing because you do not know what she will do, how she will react, and you do not know how the guest, because that is regarded as their freedom. But if you take away something from somebody's house, that's not freedom, because we can take away anything from somebody's house. Why should anybody arrest us? Because there is a free will for you to do what you like, is allowed to do what you like, but in that free will, you are harming so many people and ultimately your society. Now these two wills, as I said, are very important to God, because so many great people want to take birth on this earth. So many great souls want to take birth on this earth. And if we behave in such a manner that all the time this chariot is this way going up or that way going up, I can tell you no child would be willing to be born in this place who are great people. Only the people who are of the worst type will be born. There will be hooligans, there will be horrible people with a horrid nature, and they'll spoil the whole atmosphere of the countries where husband and wife do not have good relationship. The children will be such hooligans and such horrible things that will be surprised that at the age of 8 years and 5 years, they'll be committing murders and doing all kinds of such things that will be shocked. Now, between you and me, because you are also husbands and wife, and one thing it should be there, that we should not quarrel before our children. We should have all decency of husband and wife. There are so many things we do not do in the presence of our children. In the same way, we need not sit down and quarrel and say, I hate you and I hate you. I tell you, this is something you have to change a little bit in our language. In India, if somebody says, I hate you, it's regarded, that man regarded as the most unmannerly person. I mean, it's very bad manners to say, I hate you. How? I mean, it shows that you are a very low type of a person to say like that. But I hate you, so what? If you hate, so what? You are not God. If you hate me, what does it matter? Actually, if somebody hates someone, so what? That shows that person is not a good person, just to hate someone. I hate you is a way of expressing something that is, I feel, is very wrong for the family system. It shocks children. Children look upon you as ideals. When they are born, you should see them. Most of the children nowadays in Australia are born realized. I see that around when I went to the airport, and I see they are born realized. And they watch, and they're surprised, and they sulk, and they feel very sad. They don't take sides. They don't like the father to fight the mother to fight. And one other thing which you must understand, that a certain gradation has to be there. A woman is the strongest point of the household, like this Mother Earth is. She takes all the problems upon herself. Because she's the strongest. Who else can withstand this kind of weight on her? It's the mother. In the same way, a woman in the house is the mother, and she has to bear up. You see, it's nice to have a husband who comes home and says whatever he likes and takes out all the filth on you, than to have a husband who is very sweet, hello, hello, and outside he goes like a bumptious tiger on everyone. Such a man has to, you see, they are like children, I would say. They are like children. They have to take out their tensions on their wives only. And you should be an absorber of that. And that's the sign of a woman. A strong woman doesn't get easily disturbed by these things. She's not bothered. She says, all right, you little baby, come along. Now I have had 4 babies. Now this is the 5th one, which is the smallest has come. Let him shout and scream. Even with the children, you have to be patient. They'll hit you. They'll do anything. I would say that way in India, children are treated very kindly, and there are special things. They will do what they like when they are children. But when they grow up, we do not have teenage problem. We do not have problem when the children don't respect. This is a very important aspect of our modern life that we have to understand. What is the relationship of husband and wife is? Husband is like, say, a gentleman who is definitely is to be respected by the wife. But if she does not respect the husband, she cannot get respect for her children. But the husband has to be a respectable man. That's very important. If the man is not respectable, he cannot be respected easily. But the more is the woman has to be very respectable. If she doesn't give her respect, you can handle any kind of man if you are clever enough. Drunkards, all sorts, they come down. Because after all, they are human beings. They are not bad people. But because of mishandling, they just get out. And the domination of men is just a myth. See, they cannot dominate. They are incapable of domination. They just do it because they want to feel that they are superior. That's all. But they cannot dominate. Whatever the domination, what is their domination? It's little things here and there. Just like children. That's what it is. If women understand their maturity and their responsibility as women, because they are the Shakti. They are the power of the family. And they are the potent Shakti for the husband as well as for the children. But if they get disturbed, then the husband is disturbed and children are also disturbed. But they are potent. While the kinetics are these people, like here is the electricity, all right. So we say very good lamp and electricity and all that. But from where does it come? The source is somewhere quietly sending the source and enjoying itself by giving that source. In the same way, this is a very important sentence.